Alright, how's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you one of the most essential things to learn early on in BMX because you'll pretty much use it the entire time you ride, no matter how advanced you get it. You'll see some of the top riders doing this on a lot of their lines. It's a manual. So the reasons manuals are so important, it's because they can link so many different tricks together. You can do bar to manual to grind to manual to like 180 out or something like that. And there's so many different uses for it. Like you can do manuals around bowls, you can do them pretty much anywhere, like in little lines and dirt jumps and stuff, just like little pumps. You can use it racing. Pretty much it's one of the most universal tricks across the board. Pretty much every discipline of BMX uses the manual, so it's really important. Alright, and then today I'm going to show you like a lot of the tricks and stuff that a lot of the other how-tos don't have. A lot of them don't go very into depth, but I'm going to make sure and do that for you. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing, knowing how to manual, is making sure that you have a bike that fits you. You don't want to be, like if you're a really small person, you don't want to have a really long bike, because the longer it is, like the further it is in front of you, it's going to be a lot harder to get your weight back over your back tire, which will make them almost impossible to do, because it's like trying to do a manual on like a 24 or 26 inch bike is really hard, because you can't get your weight back far enough. Alright, so the key to a manual is just getting your weight back and below. So if you watch, like, I'll show you an example of what a lot of people do. What a lot of beginners will do is they'll try to like lean over the bars and manual and kind of pull up like this. But if you look at anybody that can manual pretty far, you'll see that they lock their arms out and then that their legs are doing all the motion. So here's an example of what not to do. So as you can see, like my weight's right over here. You're not going to get it back. But if you leave your weight back like that, that's what pops it up. So the first thing you're going to have to learn how to do is just how to get your tire up high enough to be able to do a manual. So to do that, you're just going to have to get comfortable just sitting in one, like I'd recommend rolling kind of slow, but I'll do it in one spot so you can see me the whole time. Maybe take like a half a crank to like a full crank, and then just extend your arms, make sure your feet are level, and then you're going to want to like almost like kind of sit on your back tire. Like don't actually do it, but like kind of have that in your mind. Because that is about where you want your butt to be. Watch where my butt is over my back tire. So if you watch that closely, you can see that my arms are all the way out. They're locked. I'm not doing any pulling or anything with my arms. Once I get into the manual, that my arms are just locked. So the only thing moving me is kind of my butt just kind of doing like a little bit of a back and forth motion. So that comes from your legs bending and kind of like compressing and stuff to level out the manual. So as you can see, my butt kind of puts my center of gravity right over the back tire on the rear axle, and that's where we want it to stay. So you'll kind of fluctuate that by moving forward and backwards. So now, one of the more scary parts, it's not really that scary, but at first it kind of can be, is looping out, which I'll show you an example of what that is. It's just when you lean too far back out and the bike shoots out from under you. Like that. But obviously you'll be going a little faster. This is a really important thing to know like early on, learning how to manual, because if you can't do that, you're going to fall onto your back and it's really going to hurt. And in some instances it's really hard to avoid. I know when I first started learning them, I'd sometimes try to take one foot off and then the other, and that's a terrible idea. Don't do what I did. I fell so hard so many times doing that, because if you try to take one foot off, your other foot is just going to stick to your pedal. It's like, say I'm pushing down on this and you try to take that off, it's just going to come with you, so you're not going to be able to get that foot off. And that's going to catch and you're just going to slam onto the ground. So don't do that. If you're going to loop out, kick your feet forward a little bit just to push that bike, and then just kind of run out of it. Like this. And if you're going really fast and you can't really hold on to it, it's even okay to just throw your bike as long as you don't really care. I'd rather throw my bike than like tear myself up. So that's pretty much it for knowing how to loop out, because I mean, if you lean too far forward, the only thing that's going to happen is you're just going to put your front tire back down. So really make sure that you're getting your weight like back and low. If you want to see if you're doing this right or not, take a still that I'm about to put on the screen right here. get somebody to take a video of you doing a manual and compare where your body position is over your bike compared to the one that I'm posting right now. If you you'll see that if your butt's like too high over the seat, or if it's too far back and it's high, because the lower your center of gravity is to your back tire, the easier it's going to be to manual. The less you're going to have to move. But if you're like up here trying to do it, you're going to have to move around so much, it's going to be a lot harder. So go ahead and compare those, and then adjust what you need to do to your manual and like your position to get it to work well. Okay, so once you know how to just get up into it and you know how to loop out of it, then you should start going for a little bit of distance to get comfortable with it. The best place to learn this is just a flat piece of land where you don't really have to worry about anything getting in the way. Parking lots are really good things. I know a lot of people say those and just go like parking spot to parking spot. You can do it pretty much anywhere, down a street, whatever. It does really help to have like a marker though. So like just find like a crack or something. That's what I did whenever I learned it. I didn't really have a parking lot, so I just use a crack and then like either get like a stick or a rock or something and move it back further each time. That way you can adjust it, and even if you're not making it a whole parking spot, you can move it like maybe another foot and another foot and another foot, and just keep adjusting it little bit by little bit. So then once you can do those pretty well, and you're getting like a decent amount of distance, then you can start trying other variations of manuals. And I think the second thing to learn would definitely have to be a hop-up manual. So if you have like a curb, I had a nice little setup by me. It was like flat and then a curb for maybe like 5 or 6 feet, and then it dropped off again. This was really nice for me to learn how to do this because it felt really cool when I'd hop up, manual across, and then drop back down on the other side. So the way you're gonna do this, I'll find a curve here in a second, is it really, like the way you bunny hop sets you for it. It took me a while to figure it out because like whenever you do a bunny hop, there's 2 stages of it. You pull up and then you pull your back end up, so like this. But whenever you're doing the manual, you're gonna do the second step of it a lot less. So you're not gonna pull up your back end nearly as much. When I first learned how to do them, like the hop-up manuals, I pretty much jumped and almost didn't pull my back end up at all. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was just kind of hopping, and then since your weight's already back when you do the initial hop, you kind of just compress once you hit your back end down. So it'll kind of just look like this. See how I'm already in it and I don't suck up at all? That's exactly how it's going to be on the curb and exactly how you should try to do it. So I'll show you a few examples real quick. So I don't really have like the best place to do it right here where I'm filming at, but the best place to do it at would be like a curb where you can roll straight at it. That way you don't have to hop sideways or anything. But this is the best I have, so I'll show you a few examples on this. Okay, so if you really go back and watch my hop, you can see that when I hop up, I barely bring up my back tires. If you really try to pull it up, you're not gonna be able to get your weight back. That's what I really struggled with when I tried learning hop-up manuals, and it messed with me forever until I finally figured out one day that you just pull up and then it'll pretty much set you in the perfect position. So I'll give you a few more examples real quick. All right, so that's pretty much it for manuals. Later on, you'll learn other variations of it, just like connect them with grinds, fun stuff like that. That's probably one of my favorite uses for them, is either manually around bowls or doing them in between grinds and stuff like that. So I'll recap on all the essential things. Make sure you get your butt back low and over your back tire. That's one of the main things. Keep your arms locked out. Make sure you're going at a comfortable speed. You don't want to be going too slow, then it's almost impossible to do it. I'd say the faster you go up to a certain point, up to you feel like comfortable, that's probably the best speed to go out once you get really comfortable with them, because the faster you're going, it does make it a little bit easier to do manuals. Just keep doing them longer and longer until you're really, really comfortable with them, and then you can start trying them like out of bowls, up banks, doing stuff like that, and then eventually trying hop-up ones like I was doing over there. And just remember, whenever you hop, don't suck up your back end too much, or else you're not going to be able to keep your weight farther enough back to stay in the manual. And other than that, that's about it. If y'all have any other questions or anything like that, or any other how-tos you'd like me to do, just let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.